Welcome to the Explainer. Artificial intelligence is poised to change, well, just about everything. But it looks like British Columbians are feeling a little bit stuck, caught between a future that's full of incredible hope and one that's full of some pretty deep-seated fear. So, what's the real story? Let's dig in.
So, this is the big question, right? How does British Columbia really feel about AI? And we're not just talking about the tech experts in Vancouver, we're talking about everyone from every corner of the province. And as you're about to see, the answer is, well, it's not simple at all.
To get a handle on this, a survey did something pretty clever. It asked people to pick an animal that described their relationship with AI. And the results? They show a pretty clear divide. So, are you an octopus? Multitasking, complex, adapting to all this new stuff at once? Or are you more of a snail? Slow, steady, kind of cautious, and just taking your time. It really shows you just how personal our connection to this technology is becoming.
And when you tally up all those different feelings, one thing becomes crystal clear. Yeah, some people are optimistic, and yeah, others are pretty concerned. But look at that. The biggest group by far feels mixed or neutral. They see the good and they see the bad. And that tension, that balance right there between hope and fear, that's really the defining story of BC's mood on AI right now.
Okay, so let's start on the bright side. Let's talk about the hopes. With all this uncertainty swirling around, where are British Columbians seeing the most promise? What's the upside?
Well, right at the top of the list, by a long shot, is healthcare. People again and again said they see AI as a way to revolutionize our medical system, which, let's be honest, is under a ton of pressure. And this isn't some sci-fi, far-off dream. People are thinking about very real, practical improvements. Just look at this response. They're talking about better diagnostics, less invasive surgeries, and ultimately, better outcomes. The focus is squarely on things that could help patients, like tomorrow.
The other huge area of hope? Using AI to cut through all that government bureaucracy. People have this vision of AI making our public services faster, smarter, and maybe even more accountable.
And in this quote, you can almost feel the mix of frustration and hope, can't you? It's this deep desire for AI to slice through the red tape and, just help Gov actually get something done. It's about getting real results that people can see and feel. All right, so for every one of those hopes we just talked about, there's an equally powerful fear. This is the other side of that mixed feeling we saw. So now let's confront some of those anxieties. The number one concern, and it's not even close, is jobs. The data shows this really deep-seated anxiety that AI is just going to wipe out more jobs than it creates, leaving a lot of people behind. And look, this isn't some abstract economic theory. It is deeply personal. I mean, look at this quote from someone in the film and TV industry. People on all sorts of fields, creative, administrative, you name it, are looking at this tech and asking a very real question. What happens to my job? Running a very close second to job loss is a fear that's maybe even more existential. It's the fear of losing our grip on what's real. The power of AI to create totally convincing deepfakes and spread misinformation is, frankly, a massive concern for people. This quote just nails that feeling, doesn't it? The worry that as a society, we're just not ready for this. I mean, if we can't trust what we see with our own eyes anymore, what happens to, well, everything? To trust, to democracy, to just knowing what's true? And this table really sums up that tug of war. For every sector, you see these two futures staring back at us. In healthcare, it's better diagnostics versus a loss of the human touch. For the economy, it's new efficiency versus widespread unemployment. And in the arts, it's a new tool for creativity versus a machine that just replaces human expression. It's the same story over and over again. Hope and fear just completely deadlocked. So when you have this much hope on one side and this much fear on the other, it all leads to one very clear conclusion. People are looking for some control. There's a real call for governance, for rules. But what kind of rules do they actually want? Well, the survey basically laid out 4 different paths, from strong regulation all the way to a totally hands-off approach.
And what were the two most popular choices? Strong regulation and a balanced approach. It's a really clear signal that the public wants someone to be setting up some guardrails. This quote really captures the feeling of a big chunk of the population. It's the voice of caution. They're basically saying, hey, let's tap the brakes. The risks here are huge, so we need to prioritize safety, even if that means we're not the first out of the gate with this stuff. But then, of course, there's the other side of the coin. There's an argument that we can't give in to fear. These folks are worried that if we over-regulate, we'll fall behind, and that will create its own huge problems. It really shows you that the fear of being left behind can be just as strong as the fear of moving too fast. Now, inside this whole debate about rules and governance, one question in particular really revealed a deep divide in the province. And that was, what role, exactly, should Indigenous communities play in shaping BC's AI future? And wow, the responses were just worlds apart. On one hand, you have a strong call for partnership, the idea that Indigenous knowledge, especially around stewardship, could be a huge asset in guiding this new technology. But on the other hand, you have a call for strict equality, arguing that no single group should have a special say. The data showed both of these views are very much present, highlighting a really complex question with no easy answers. So, after all that, where does it leave us? Well, it feels like we're standing at the start of a new chapter, and the pages are still completely blank. It's totally unwritten.
If there's one thing that's absolutely clear from all this, it's that there are no easy answers here. The feelings are mixed, the hopes are real, and the fears are just as powerful. This isn't some settled debate. It is an active, messy, and really important conversation that's happening right now.
You know, maybe this one quote just gets to the heart of it all. AI isn't good or evil on its own. It's a powerful tool, just like fire or a knife.
It can be a tool, or it can be a weapon. And its ultimate impact? That's going to be determined by the choices that we make. The responsibility really is on us. So the question isn't what AI will do to us. It's what will we, together, choose to do with it. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.